What am I doing here?
You are here to free your mind.
What if the voice in your head is not entirely yours? Not metaphorically, not poetically, but literally. Right now, as you are listening to this, there is a stream of thoughts moving through your mind. Words, images, reactions, a constant internal narration. But here's the question nobody really asks. Where do those thoughts come from? Not how they are processed, not how the brain works, but where they originate. Because if you pay attention, really pay attention, you might notice something strange. You don't actually choose your thoughts. Try it right now. Decide what your next thought will be. Not a general idea, not "I will think about something," but the exact thought. You can't, because the thought appears before you can decide it. It arrives, fully formed, uninvited, and only after it appears do you become aware of it. Which means you are not creating thoughts in real time. You are receiving them. Now let's slow this down. Imagine your mind as a screen. Thoughts are images appearing on it. Do you control the screen? Yes, to some extent. Do you control what appears on it? Not really. And that is deeply unsettling, because it suggests that the most intimate part of your identity, your thoughts, may not be fully under your control. Now, before this turns into full existential panic, let's bring in science. In neuroscience, thoughts are often described as patterns of neural activity, electrical signals, chemical interactions. But that description only explains the mechanism, not the origin. It's like describing a radio. Yes, you can explain how circuits work, how signals are processed, but that does not explain where the music comes from. So here's a hypothesis. The brain does not create thoughts. It receives and interprets them. Sounds strange? Good. We're just getting started. There is a concept in cognitive science called spontaneous thought. It refers to thoughts that arise without deliberate control, which is most of them. Studies suggest that a huge percentage of our thoughts are automatic. They appear, they evolve, they disappear without conscious effort. So if you're not consciously generating them, what is? Possibility 1, your subconscious mind, a vast hidden system processing information below awareness. Fair enough, but that leads to another question. Where does the subconscious get its input? From experience? Yes. From memory? Of course. But sometimes, thoughts appear that feel completely new, unexpected, unpredictable, ideas you didn't know you had. Where do those come from? Now let's move into more speculative territory. There is a controversial idea that consciousness may not be entirely localized in the brain. Instead, it could be part of a larger field, a shared informational space. Think of it like the internet. Your device accesses it, but the data does not originate inside your device. What if your brain is doing something similar, accessing a field of information, tuning into patterns, receiving signals? Now imagine this. Your thoughts are not isolated. They are part of a larger system, a network, a field of mind. This idea isn't new. Variations of it appear in philosophy, psychology, and even some areas of physics. The concept of a collective consciousness, a shared layer of awareness. Now let's add a little dark humor. If thoughts are coming from a shared field, then somewhere out there is a source responsible for your most random, useless, and embarrassing thoughts. Which raises an important question. Who is writing this script? Because some of these thoughts are questionable. Now let's push this further. What if not all thoughts are neutral? What if some are influenced? Not in a science fiction mind control way, but subtly, through patterns, through exposure, through environment. Every piece of information you consume changes your thought patterns. Social media, conversations, news, they don't just inform you, they shape you. Your thoughts are not isolated events. They are responses, which means they are influenced by external input. So, where does you end and the world begin? It's not a clear boundary. Now let's introduce a slightly more unsettling idea. What if awareness, the part of you that notices thoughts, is separate from the thoughts themselves? Meaning, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. If that's true, then thoughts are objects, events, things that happen within awareness, not the source of it. Now pause. Right now, notice your thoughts. Observe them. Don't engage, just watch. Something interesting happens. They continue, but you are no longer inside them. You are outside, watching, which suggests something profound. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one hearing it. Now here's where things get strange. If you are the observer, then who is the speaker? And if you don't fully control the speaker, then what is it? A process? A system? A signal? Or something else? Let's not jump to conclusions, but let's not ignore the question either, because this changes everything. If your thoughts are not entirely yours, then identity becomes flexible, less fixed, more dynamic. You are not a static self. You are a process, a point of awareness, interacting with a stream of information. Now connect this back to the first video. If reality might be a simulation, and consciousness might be the observer, then thoughts could be part of the interface, inputs, signals, guidance, or noise, and your role to navigate, to interpret, to choose which thoughts to follow and which to let pass. Because even if you don't control the appearance of thoughts, you can influence your response to them. And that is where control exists, not in creation, but in selection. Now let's end with something important. This is not a reason to feel powerless. It's the opposite. Because once you realize that thoughts are not absolute, you gain distance from them. And in that distance, there is freedom. Freedom to observe, freedom to choose, freedom to question, and maybe freedom to discover something deeper. Because if thoughts are not the source, then what is? What is aware of them? What is constant while everything else changes? That question might be the most important one you will ever ask. So the next time a thought appears, don't just follow it. Look at it and ask yourself, did I create this or did it arrive? Because the answer might lead you somewhere unexpected. And trust me, this is only getting deeper. In the next video, we go even further into something that might be even more unsettling. What if your mind is not entirely private? Stay curious, stay aware, and be careful. What you believe is you.